it's probably safe to assume that Hidetaka Miyazaki and his From Software team had some pretty high expectations for Elden Ring before the game was released. After sweeping the video game industry off its feet when it was released in February and never looking back, the game may very well have surpassed all of them by the time it was released almost a year later. Elden Ring might not have ended there either, and in 2023, the game might still be consuming players' time and making headlines. Despite amassing a sizable fan base as a result of the critical and commercial success of the Dark Souls trilogy, Bloodborne, and 2019 Game of the Year winner Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, From Software was still perceived as somewhat of a niche developer, largely because of its track record for producing extremely harsh video games that punish even the tiniest errors. Elden Ring provides players with a variety of in-game strategies to help them cope with the sometimes brutally difficult experience, despite the fact that it is still very difficult. This made the game much more approachable than previous Soulsborne games, and it also helped From Software become more well-known than ever. It is impossible to overstate how well-received and profitable Elden Ring was last year. Currently ranking among the top 25 video games of all time, it has a Metacritic average score of 96. Numerous media outlets have given the game numerous awards, including 4 at the Game Awards 2022, where it won the coveted Game of the Year 2022 award. It has so far sold an astounding 17.5 million copies, which is equally impressive in terms of sales figures. With so many options for playing the game, including a recent update that gave users access to Colosseums for online PvP battles, the number of players doesn't appear to be declining. Is there going to be DLC for Elden Ring in 2023? Elden Ring DLC is widely believed to be inevitable, despite From Software's lack of a firm denial. At the most recent Game Awards 2022, Hidetaka Miyazaki acknowledged that there is still more he and his team want to do with the game. Based on previous From Software games, if DLC is indeed on the way, it would make the most sense to release in 2023. Elden Ring's DLC is actually well past due at this point, as evidenced by the Dark Souls trilogy and Bloodborne, where the average interval between a game's launch and the publication of DLC is actually just a little over 7 months. It should not be surprising that any potential DLC is taking a little longer than fans of the Japanese developer are used to, given that the size and scope of Elden Ring are significantly larger than those of prior From Software games. Some of the best bosses the series has to offer can be found in the DLC, which Hidetaka Miyazaki and his team are well known for investing just as much, if not more effort into than the base games. Due to DLC, battles like Slave Knight Gale, Artorias of the Abyss, and the Orphan of Kos were all added to their respective games. In order to wait patiently for new content for the expansive RPG, fans should be encouraged by this outstanding track record. Given the size of the game and how long it has been since its release, it would not be surprising if the game received not 1 but 2 DLC updates throughout the year. However, even though it does seem extremely likely, there is no assurance that even 1 DLC will be released. As such, this is just speculative. Elden Ring DLC conjecture. While the release of the Elden Ring DLC appears to be a foregone conclusion, the details of such additions are much less certain. While some previous From Software games' DLC packs expanded on already existing characters or locations, others added entirely new areas, bosses, and weapons. Sister Fried was a strong NPC and boss that was made specifically for Dark Souls 3's Ashes of Ariandel DLC, while Ludwig is mentioned frequently in Bloodborne's base game despite only being seen and encountered once in the Old Hunters DLC. From Software has many options for generating intriguing new locations and encounters because the Elden Ring universe features a wide variety of characters, many of whom are mentioned but never actually seen. The Badlands is one such location that, theoretically, would make a fantastic setting for Elden Ring's DLC. Even though little is known about the Badlands, they are located somewhere outside of the lands between. The first Elden Lord, Godfrey, was killed in these Badlands. There should be no shortage of formidable challenges to be found within this region, as other warriors are known to lurk here as well. Given Godfrey's immense power, the prospect of facing his conqueror is exciting. Miquella, who is presently the only shardbearer that players are unable to combat, is a character of particular interest. Miquella is a mystery despite playing a significant role in the Elden Ring lore as Malenia's brother and the offspring of Radagon and Marika. Many believe that this will change once certain DLC is released. Some have even compared Elden Ring's Miquella to Dark Souls' Artorias of the Abyss, a character who was important to the game's lore but wasn't included as a boss until its DLC. The player's skill should be put to the test once more in a battle with Miquella if he is the inspiration for any additional content. Updates regarding Elden Ring in 2023. Elden Ring received a number of updates and patches in 2022 as From Software made adjustments to the game in response to user feedback, some of which were more significant than others. Many of these patches assisted in balancing the game's various weapon types in order to make the PvP aspect as equitable as possible. When necessary, the single-player component was also changed. Some bosses were nerfed to make slightly easier encounters, most notably Starscourge Radon, who many thought had too much power when the game first came out. PvP is arguably more significant than ever now that Elden Ring's Colosseum update is live, and players should continue to expect From Software to release additional patches to ensure that weapons and spells are properly balanced so that the emphasis is on player skill rather than their choice of weapon or build. The DLC may coincide with a plethora of new weapons to acquire, which means some of them may need balancing in the future if previous games are any indication. Elden Ring is currently accessible on the PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X, S. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and support my channel.